Hello, beautiful people. This is Nura. I hope you're having a beautiful day, creating a beautiful day from wherever you are. Let me know where you're tuning in from if you're here live, if you're watching on the replay. I'd also love to know where and when in time you are connecting with this. So, wow, how you doing? Right in the middle of this eclipse portal, we are about to catapult through this weekend. And since there's a lot of stirred up energy, I decided for today to focus more on your own internal experience and slow down the talking a little bit because I can talk quite a bit. Hello, Leaf in Arizona. I know I have a lot to say, but I'm also feeling deeply introspective and thinking about a lot. It's also Friday the 13th. It's a great day for manifesting, or it's said to be a great day for manifesting, because Friday, connecting with Freya and the goddess, this is Venus Day, and also 13. There are 13 moons in a year. 13 is a very feminine creation number. Many women, if they bleed in alignment with the moon cycle, there are typically 13 moons on average. So, this is a really beautiful day for creativity. But if you are anything like me or having an experience like any of the other people that I've spoken to, maybe it's not feeling so easy to create. Let me know in the comments how you're feeling. Like, does it feel easy? Are you feeling like, wow, I'm just like feeling this creativity of this eclipse portal? Because if that's you, then go you. I'm so happy for you. If you're feeling like this is a little bit more of a difficult time, that's also okay. The way I've been feeling it is almost like the carpet has been shook and all of the pieces are suspended animation up in the air, and the chips are going to fall, and they're going to fall in a completely different place, and we're going to be completely different on the other side of this. But it's like when you're just about at the finish line, it usually gets the most frustrating. You want to give up usually at the finish line. And it's, we've heard these sayings before, like you have your biggest breakdowns before your biggest breakthroughs. I think it's cliche for a reason because it's true. So, yeah, wow, witnessing a hall of mirrors with projection of shame, guilt, self judgment. Yeah, this is great stuff to be working through. And exactly like what Leslie is saying, having trust, because trusting our process is everything. And we will not come out of this eclipse portal the same. But I do feel that we can manifest energetically, we can manifest with our bodies and with our hearts. It doesn't all have to be up here in the mind, it can be more internal. I think there's a lot going on that our minds actually don't even understand. And I pulled a couple cards that really reflect this. So I'll share them with you and I asked really specifically for this audience, for the people watching, and what would be most supportive going forward this weekend with the energies. And so, Eight of Cups, this is a journey card, a deep internal soul journey card. This is very much like Dark Night of the Soul, but it doesn't have to be incredibly chaotic or externally intense, but maybe on the inside you're experiencing something like this where there's all the shakeup and there's this liberation energy that wants to come through, but it's coming from the inside. This is also a very Piscean card too, which in a week from now we're going to have the last quarter moon in Pisces, but that's part of the cycle. Okay, and then I also pulled the Two of Swords, which is very much being in limbo. Being okay not knowing. Where do you feel safe to not know? Like, is it safe to not know? It sounds maybe like a silly question, but sometimes I think, especially in our culture, we put a lot of pressure on knowing, figuring it all out, knowing the answer, knowing what we're going to do next, knowing our plan, knowing what we're going to manifest. And sometimes it's not for us to know here. So I invite you, wherever you are, to find 5 things to look at. Notice 5 things that you can see. Listen for 4 things that you can hear. That was really cool because I looked at my clock when I said that, 4 things you can hear, and the time was literally 4:44, 4 minutes and 44 seconds. That's cool. Structure, stability. find 3 things that this will be interesting, that you can touch. That'll make it easier. 3 things you can touch. Depending on where you are, this could be hilarious. 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. Hopefully, you ate a really good lunch or dinner wherever you are, whenever you are in time. Yummy snacks. I recently what did I eat today? Well, I have actually the taste of these Bach flower essences, and these are great too. I have them in this cute little thing, which is why I brought them. Adapt to Change is this one that I just took, and I don't sell these or anything, and I don't even always use this brand, but I just find they really work. So just putting that out there in case you are very energetically sensitive and feel the shift. I certainly do. And also I think it's something like, oh, I see the affirmation on here and it says adapt to change. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to adapt to change. I sometimes think we just need that physical meeting with the intention and then it creates something. Okay. So we're here. We're in our bodies, taking a deep breath from wherever you are right now. You can close your eyes if that feels good. And just letting out all your old air. You're going to be walking through the week day by day. So feel free to grab your calendar or your phone and a journal so that you can record what comes up. And I really wanted this to be slow. I want you to come away from this feeling centered, clear, grounded. These are words I'm calling in. We are right now like caterpillars in the chrysalis, about to undergo transmutation to form something that as of yet we are not fully aware of. And no matter what we do, we will emerge different from this portal. And there are 2 choices that pretty much stem down to faith or fear. We could be grumpy through it, frustrated by it. We could worry ourselves sick. We could be in this dreadful anxiety about the mysterious unknown of the future. Or we can trust that we are held and enjoy the ride and have full faith that we're fully equipped for the divine plan of our lives. That's been my mantra. It comes from Florence Shin's one of her books related to the game of life and how to play it. And one of the ones that I use every day is that I am completely equipped for the divine plan of my life. So let's begin our journey at the opening of the eclipse portal. We're going to go back in time and space about 2 weeks and start to feel into what was culminating at that time, or what was coming to rest, because it was a new moon, it was a solar eclipse, April 30th, it was a Saturday afternoon, night, depending on where you live, April 30th. Where were you? Who were you with? What were you doing? And just take yourself on a walk back to that day, back to that space and time, and just sit with it for a few moments. You can recall the energy that was opening itself up to you at that time. What did it feel like? What was the quality of that time, that whole weekend, even May 1st, Beltane? What was the texture of that time? Write down anything that comes to you. This is kind of like, this is my style of how I like to meditate. I like to do like journal prompt meditations. What were the frequencies of the people around you or the events that maybe you witnessed that day or that weekend or even shortly after? And ask your higher self what message or insight was coming to you through that opening of the eclipse portal with that solar eclipse new moon in Taurus. It was at 10 degrees Taurus. So you might, if you know where that is in your chart, you might also reflect on, oh, that it was in this house or near this planet or forming this aspect. But if you don't know, that's also okay because the information is coming in anyways. So really asking your heart, and you can even put your hands on your heart if you want, what new information or insight was being seeded into your heart that weekend. We are working currently with the heart chakra Venus gate, Also, Taurus has strong affinity with the heart. And so there's information being seeded into our bodies, being seeded into our heart. It's not always seeded into our mind. But I find that through things like this, we can connect these parts of ourselves. So, what did you want to know around the eclipse? Did you have a question? Was there something you were trying to manifest? And then fast forward yourself through that following week up to the first quarter moon in Leo. That was Sunday, May 8th. So we've fast forwarded a week, but maybe you can like imagine it. It's like literally like a video, like you're watching yourself fast forward and maybe you pull out the major events and the key people that showed up in that window. Most importantly, what new creative insight or idea was making itself known to you that week? What were your predominant feelings that week, the first week of May, right? Especially in that Beltane portal, a lot of energy of fertility, the maiden coming to sexual maturity. When we come to the first quarter waxing of the moon, it's like we have half the information so far because half of the moon is illuminated. We have half of the new idea starting to percolate. Really enter the memory of that time and what was being revealed to you. Sometimes this can come through desires, curiosity, creative impulses, something that wants to be healed, something that wants you to be looked at, and write any of that down. Happy Friday. Happy Venus Day. Okay, move into the next big energy shift. Mercury stationed retrograde May 10th in the early degrees of Gemini. Whew. How was that? Did you feel like the energy slowed down or sped up? Was there a shift in the texture or the quality of the energy around you? What were the quality of your thoughts around the stationing of Mercury retrograde? And maybe you want to, again, connect with your heart and maybe even massage the throat chakra because Gemini has strong affinity with the throat chakra. And when Mercury's retrograde, there's some story there that sometimes wants to come out, but sometimes it wants to be spoken differently. So, what was the quality? What has been in this whole time? What has been the quality of your thoughts? What is being revealed to you from your internal vantage point? Another good Gemini question would be, what are you navigating in the realm of duality? Is there something being integrated? Is there something that you're seeing from a new perspective, maybe the opposite perspective than you thought you would be taking? Projection is the play of the mind. Mm-hmm. Very good Mercury retrograde in Gemini wisdom. Then moving on to the Jupiter shift into Aries, the Ram. Jupiter being our guide for our expansion journey over the coming summer months. When we connect with Jupiter, we're guided by our higher selves. We're more easily able to tap into our divine design and our soul level aspirations. By connecting with Jupiter, this is the fastest and most joyful way to move through life and to move through our evolutionary process. I'll say that again. Jupiter, where you have Jupiter in your chart and where Jupiter is by transit, this is the fastest way and the most joyful way to move through our evolutionary journey. Doesn't mean everything else doesn't exist, but if you have your eye on Jupiter, it's kind of like you have your eye on your higher self, you have your eye on God, God has his eye on you, right? Like what you seek is seeking you. That is very Jupiter. If you go a little bit, you're going to be flooded right back if you focus on the content and the quality of Jupiter. So, Jupiter in Aries really bringing this vitality. But since we're still in the middle of this eclipse portal, it might not feel the way you think it's going to feel. It maybe is starting more internally, maybe as a returning of faith in yourself. Yes, good to know where you have Jupiter. Yes. So, reflecting on Jupiter, is there a new perspective that you get to take, perhaps around the spiritual warrior, which is Aries, or perhaps what it means just on the 3D level? What does it mean to take a stand for yourself? Because Aries is the individual. Is there a new way you're feeling motivated to take action in the world? And just breathe into that for a minute. Know that it's okay if you feel like you're in limbo, because this is a soul journey. It doesn't happen in one day. We're going to have Jupiter in Aries all the way until October 27th. Then he's going to go back to Pisces for a minute and then back into Aries for next year. But it's a soul journey. Okay, coming into the now today, this magical Friday the 13th, day of the goddess, who always holds us, but is held also in sacred union with the divine masculine. So together they are great spirit, infinite intelligence, always supporting us on our creative journey. So what is wanting to be birthed through you? What are you feeling today? Like what has arisen in your field today? How is your energy shifting? What parts of you are awakening, being activated, being spoken to, so that you can create from where you are now the new version of you that you are now? Because you're not who you even were last week. You're not who you were last month or a year ago. So there's a new you being birthed into this world. What is wanting to be birthed through you, by you? And as we approach this full moon lunar eclipse in Scorpio, whoo, it's big. It's big energy. Oh, just allow yourself to take it slow. We are still in suspended animation. So wherever you have felt, whew, it's like I came up here and I froze, almost in this awareness of something new is happening. I don't know what it's going to be yet. How can you lean more into trust in that space? Also, I think this full moon is really going to ask us in this process of connecting more with our power. There's an invitation to look at our shadow, because our shadow will hold us back. We have to confront it, love it, be with our whole self. But sometimes we don't know what that means, right? So we need ways to go and look for it. We need to know where to dig. I think there's a couple great methods for that, but look at where you're frustrated, or look at where there's contradiction, look at where there's tension. Those are obvious places to dig. Look at where you might be hiding, where you're hiding from yourself, where you're hiding from others, where you're afraid to be vulnerable. These are going to be the places where you get to make a new choice. If you've done something when you've been afraid or hurt a certain way for your whole life, this is an opportunity where you could completely change that. And you could just say, I'm done with the old story. Goodbye. Goodbye, old way of retaliating against somebody who hurt me, hurting somebody who hurt me, right? Goodbye, that person. Goodbye, this person who would go and hide because they're afraid of being seen, but they have really an amazing gift to share with the world. Goodbye, the person who does that. And it comes through confronting the fears. So that's the opportunity here. Some of you probably need to hear that you don't need to run or hide in this life. Even though the world is kind of chaotic, it can be chaotic for sure. There's lots going on, but nobody can really harm you. And you are a free, sovereign being here to create absolute beauty in this world. You will not be persecuted in this life, so you don't need to run or hide. It's very unlikely. Wherever you are in this moment, observing what's coming, feeling into this full moon, let it be what it is without attaching yourself to it, without trying to make a statue of it, without trying to take it and like crystallize it so that you can control it, so that you know what it will be, so that you can make a plan of how you're going to manifest with this energy. Because whatever you grasp in this moment, it is also going to shift. It is going to transmute. It's going to take us through a portal and like catapult us through like a quantum leap into literally another reality, another timeline, another you. So you might as well let the transformational energy run its course. So this is a really great time to practice non-grasping, non-attachment. And since we're in Taurus season, this is where we get to balance that. Like, where do we seek to control our external reality because we want to feel safe, or control other people so that we can feel secure, or even control our creative process so that we can be on a schedule? That's more masculine, and there's nothing wrong with that. We need both the masculine and the feminine to create. We need schedules and we need deadlines, but Taurus and Scorpio are feminine. They're yin. This is very much about being in the flow, being with what is, not forcing anything, receiving. It's about receiving. So, where do you get to receive your own wisdom right now? Where do you get to be in this uncomfortable, this edge, this comfortable discomfort? Hopefully you're comfortable. Hopefully you have everything you need. Being in gratitude and appreciation for whatever you have, knowing that what is yours is yours and it will come to you, but not grasping at anything that's in your space right now. And just take a deep breath into that. Maybe you say a prayer for yourself, or set an intention, or say a prayer for the world. What is it that you hope from this moment? Maybe you watch this again tomorrow and you have a new prayer, a new intention. You probably will. You would definitely have something on the other side of this full moon. Your intention would probably shift a little bit. But just from this now moment, what is wanting to be created through you? How can you lean more into trust and know that you are held in your transformational process? And in all that is shifting, where do you need support? Scorpio is one of those transpersonal signs. Might mean you get to lean in for support from somebody else, somebody who can see something, who's not, working with the same blind spots that you are, right? Scorpio tends to be where we have some blind spots, major blind spots. So sometimes you just need somebody to point it out and be like, hey, did you notice that maybe that action is stemming from fear and that you don't have to do that? And then it shifts everything for you, right? So where do you need support in your metamorphosis? Where do you need guidance to keep going? Where do you need somebody to hold space for you in your emergence from the chrysalis? Who can you reach out to? Okay, so I hope this journal prompting meditation supported you. If you'd like to go deeper in your personal work, I guide people through their evolutionary journeys in many forms with many different levels and scopes of container. And so you can reach out to me at nurarochelle.com. That's the best place. Or my email is nurarochelle, or info@nurarochelle.com, which you can also access through the contact form on my website. Feel like with the Mercury retrograde, it's like you got to give it a few different ways. So if any level of working with me is calling to you, or if you're curious about what would be most supportive for you, I'd be happy to connect. Oh, I love this. From David: abide in the heart and surrender your acts to the divine. From Ramana Maharashi. I'm not sure. I'm probably butchering that, but I appreciate that beautiful wisdom. Whew. Okay, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in here with me. It's just such an honor to be in this space with you. Let me know how you liked the pace of this, because I'm liking this right now, me talking slowly. and allowing you maybe a little bit more space with the questions as they're coming, with the answers as they're coming. If you want to share anything of your experience, please do. I'm sure other people, especially those who are watching after this, would love to hear your experience as well. And please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I hope you all have a beautiful weekend. Happy full moon lunar eclipse in Scorpio. Much love. Okay. See you next week.